And I've been out talking to over 600 CEOs in the past year and a half in Visti's organizations, and I've broached this subject, and then I bring up a whiteboard, and for 15 minutes we make a list of all the reasons why what I just said is true. They had never summarized it that way and told themselves the truth about it, but they know why it's true. So what we want to do is we want to learn to hire only A and B players. And we want to learn to be an A or B player ourselves, right? In order to hire the right people and put the right people in the right seat, you have to do a few things. First, you have to do what almost nobody does, and that is design the contributions and functions of every job. And when I say contributions, I mean the measurable dollar value, the benefit, the visible benefit that a person brings, and the dollar value of that. What is their contribution that I can measure? And then we have to design the functions that deliver that contribution, and then we have to look at the tasks involved that cause the functions to be done which make the contribution. And I've been in hundreds and hundreds of companies and thousands of jobs and done this, and I've only found one where they agreed and I agreed, you did the job the right way, you defined the job, you understand the role, you didn't need any help. Most people only define the job as a set of functions. Well, I need you to do this report, I need you to take responsibility for X, I need you to show up on Wednesdays for a group meeting. I have a list of functions, but in that, I am not being clear about what you have to deliver to me in order to make it valuable for me to have hired you and paid you $60,000 a year. What is my return on investment for paying you $60,000 a year? Here it is. Here's how much I expect return, and here's how you're going to be measured to say whether you succeeded. How is it that business managers can decide to spend $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 a year on salaries and not know the answer to that question? You wouldn't buy stock without looking at a return on investment. You wouldn't buy a house and decide whether it's a good neighborhood and has good appreciation value. You don't even buy a car without looking at and thinking about what the resale value is. But we hire people not even thinking, not even conceiving what they have to do in order to make it valuable for me to have hired this person. And how am I going to get that? And what do they have to do all day long in order to make that happen? How will I know that they're actually doing it? So we look at all the projects and transactions and the tasks to be made, and now we have a job description. And then we put every person in the right seat doing the right work. We hire to that job description. Now what we've learned is that a person's daily tasks, if they don't align with their core values, they're likely to fail. It's almost built into us, wired to fail. Unconsciously, people make themselves fail if they're not in the right seat. If they don't fail, or if they are failing, they redesign the position with our permission. If you allow every person coming in to redesign the position, by definition, you have no standard jobs. If you have no standard jobs, you can't push productivity. If you can't push productivity, you're going to lose money. You cannot allow a person to design their job. That's foolishness. It's mythology. They redesign the position because we allow it, even encourage it. In that process, they disrupt everyone else. I don't do that anymore. You need to get that from so-and-so, and here's what you do. And they redesign the work processes and transactions of your company. And that's how companies, by the way, evolve. Accidentally, by evolution caused by the next person coming in the door, who redesigns their position, and by doing that, causes everyone else to have to restructure and design theirs. They disrupt, and finally they leave. And many do all of these things. So, as we move through our work, what we want to do is be focused on one thing, that I and everyone in my company needs to be doing their real work. So I will give you these slides. If you just pick up a card out front and call, you don't have to write down all of this. We'll give you a free copy of the slide. Just let us know your email address. We'll send it to you. But I want you to sit and really listen to what this language says. A person's real work is not always fun. It's seldom easy, always engaging. It's often provocative to his spirit and to his person. Real work challenges and rewards at the soul level. Real work makes a maximum contribution that each one is called to make. Delivering all of my core nature, my essential, unique nature to society. A natural and pure expression of who I am, requiring a constant refinement of all of the talents and skills that comprise what I am. An integral part of my mission, my sense of purpose on earth. That is my real work. My real work causes my presence on this planet to be useful, positive, and of significant value to those around me. And I would pause here for a second and just ask you to think right now. Most of my business owners and entrepreneurs I work with, executives of large and small companies, when I sit down with them, at the end of a half-hour conversation, they know and I know that they're spending less than 10% of their day doing the work they're paid to do, and less than 10% of their day typically is doing work that is not aligned with their core value nature, is not aligned with their purpose on work. They're just caught in the process of doing business-driven kind of essentials that they get caught up in. And most business leaders in small business are doing the work that somebody else should have done. I hired other people to do it. I've hired 3 people to do it, and I'm still doing it. If you're not willing to kind of put on your tough hide and call up some of your inner values that you're not pulling on very often, you're going to have a real struggle in business. So I want you to prepare for it now. I want you to think about it now. I want you to become more intentional about it now. All right, the 4 core values. We have about 10 minutes. I'm going to drive through some of this. I want you to just think about this yourselves. How many took the core value index? All right, wonderful, wonderful. You got to it. So you've already read your report, hopefully, and done your homework. So just follow me very quickly. There are 4 core values that make up the essential nature that you are. Every one of us has some of all 4 core values. Every one of us has a different, unique capacity for each of the 4 core values. And that's what makes us unique. It also dictates where we fit best in the world, according to Maslow. This is who we are. The 4 core values are power. This is to take an action, get a result, to be intuitively driven, not need a lot of conversation, not need a lot of strategy thinking. I simply walk into a space, I see what needs to be done, and I go to work. And I'm so intent on making things happen and so clear about completing and causing a result that I occasionally will interrupt somebody. I occasionally will cut off a conversation. I occasionally will stand up and leave the room because what they're doing is not leading anywhere and I need to be at my work. And if you don't have a power-based person that makes you feel slightly uncomfortable, you don't have a successful team, I guarantee it. If you are not power-based yourself, you better have one next to you that makes you uncomfortable for how slowly you make decisions, how imperfectly you set expectations, and how long it takes you to get people in gear.